Hi everyone, it's Paola. Welcome back to my channel. I am really excited about today's video because I'm going to be creating something from start to finish. I know I do a few design videos here and there where I create something for fun or whatever, but a lot of my channel is advice and work stuff, and I want to create more on here, and I know that you guys want me to create more on here too. So this is going to be really fun, and you're going to come along with me as I design something. So what I decided to do is create a logo design and business card, basically like a brand identity for a client. So I actually came up with a client and came up with who they are, what their company is, and what it's for, and just something that I could do and have creative freedom with, because it's not for a real client, it's just something I made up. So this is a great exercise to do if you are wanting to build your portfolio, or you just want to have a fun project to do, or you just want to build up your skills. It is a really fun thing to do because you get to come up with a fake client. You're not making this for someone real who has actual needs and stuff. You're just kind of like having fun and working through the process of creating a logo, creating a business card, which is such a fun process, but it's also pretty daunting if you don't really know what you're doing. So I'm going to be showing you the process that I do. This is basically like a sped up version of it. I obviously take my time when I'm working with clients. So in my mind, I wanted to do something kind of fun, kind of colorful, something that I could do creative more than corporate. So I came up with an individual. Obviously this wouldn't be for a company, and this would be for someone who owns a jewelry brand, and it is going to be called Outside and In, and it's like casual, everyday, made from recycled materials jewelry company, which I thought was a cool idea. I didn't want it to be fine jewelry or something like that. I wanted it to be someone who maybe has an Etsy shop or their own website, someone who's a creative who makes things but maybe doesn't know how to do the design part. Obviously they would come to a graphic designer to do that. So this is going to be really fun, and I feel like I can just do whatever I want because it's my life and my fake client. But this will be really cool to do. So I love starting out by sketching, even if I don't love sketching, because it helps me get a lot of ideas out at once and just explore things. And there's a lot of freedom there in drawing with your hands. And even if I don't use any of them, it's fun to start that way and get all of those ideas out before switching into digital, like using Photoshop or Illustrator, because there is where I start refining things more than just exploring things. And once I'm done drawing, I usually scan those images into my laptop. And if you don't have a scanner, you can just take photos if you need to and put that into your computer. It works just as well. Okay, so now we're going to get to work on my laptop. And like I said, you can scan in images or your drawings or whatever, but I right now am not going to actually do that because I kind of already knew what design I wanted to stick with. I mean, obviously you guys saw in my sketching it was a little rough, and this is kind of a quick version. So yeah, sometimes I scan in things and sometimes I draw just to get the ideas, but yeah, that's how we get going. So I'm gonna take you through my process, and I actually have a mouse, which a lot of people are always like, how do you work without a mouse? Listen, I don't have a good setup anywhere, and especially right now, but we're gonna work with what we got. But yeah, we're gonna start out by making just any size file on Illustrator because it really doesn't matter because it's just a logo. The artboard is just how it goes. So what I'm gonna start out with is the actual shape that I wanted to do. I wanted to do a triangle, so that's where I'm going to begin. And I'm going to start figuring out what kind of width of stroke I want, just deciding how it looks, deciding if I even want a stroke or if I just want it to be filled. It's a lot of figuring out at this point. So I think I'm deciding that I don't want it to be a stroke. I want it to just be a fill, and I'm just gonna start in black and white because that's how I start all of my logo designs. I start in black and white because you have to make sure that your logo looks good just flat and not with like color and layers and shadow or whatever you're putting in. Like, you don't want to overwhelm it yet because you need to start out making sure that it looks good, plain, small scale, large scale, whatever. So I always start in black. I'm gonna work with some lines to see how that looks around it, and then that I will add the stroke to just to see what it looks like. And then I'm gonna reflect this object so it's exactly the same on the other side. And I know it's probably not perfect, but a lot of my measurements I do with other shapes in other colors so I can make sure they're the same exact width apart. Ooh, I'm really not used to using this mouse. It's really actually throwing me off. So that is our general shape done, and I know it looks a little bit like intimidating right now, but I promise with color, once we go through some color options, it's going to look really cool. So let's start by making it a lot bigger so you can actually read it, and then picking a typeface, which is an exciting part. And again, we can bring down those guides to see like what's even, what's not even, before we even choose a typeface. Though it might be a little hard to tell like where it's gonna end up, so maybe choose a typeface first. Maybe don't listen to me. And this is a time to really experiment with different fonts, what you like, what you don't like. Just copy paste and just keep typing it in different fonts until you find the one you like. This is a very experimental time still, nothing set in stone. Even though you're working on like Illustrator, you know, digitally, it doesn't have to be done and perfect. Like, keep working and keep exploring. Get the creative process out before you decide on anything final. So like I said, it's a time to explore, but I have already kind of decided some fonts that I was interested in for this logo. So I just wanted to show you like that I've come up with the idea already and we are moving along. Maybe I want to change up the width of these lines. They're a little harsh right now. I'm gonna make them smaller. So I'm really loving how it looks, but right now I feel like maybe it's a little plain. So let's just get working into color. I mean, this is just the process of a logo. I would definitely go through and do like a million different versions of this, and I would do a million different typeface choices and whatever. Like, there's so many different ways to do it, but of course I'm showing you a quick version. And this is looking like fun, so I'm just gonna stick with it and keep going. I really like how I'm doing like bright, because it's kind of that feeling of what I feel like the brand is, kind of the homemade, handmade craft kind of idea, and I don't know, I really like it. One thing that I do before I start changing it and adding it to things and changing the size is, this is a random important step that a lot of people don't know of. I highlight all of it, and obviously I group it together, but I also hit expand, and that helps it, when you change the size, it doesn't change the strokes, it doesn't change the fill, it doesn't change anything, and now everything is together, everything's uniform, it is one thing. So this is where I decided to start working on the business card. So I actually did change up the logo a little bit. I made the triangle slightly smaller because I ended up liking it better. And this is where I went into InDesign from Illustrator and started working with the symbol of the logo, and then also the actual logo on one side of the business card and then the info on the other side. So I ended up changing the colors to like a gray blue, working with that bright red I was liking at the beginning, like a reddish orange. And then I started working on the content for the back of the card. So for the back of the card, I decided to put a little bit of info of what the actual company was about, or, you know, what the brand was, to let people know. And then deciding a typeface was a little difficult because I kind of wanted to keep that handmade feel, you know, but I didn't want it to be like too extra with it. And then on the bottom part of the card, I started working with the info that I should put on the card. I kind of forgot to put a website, to be honest, so just disregard that. But this would be where like the info and the contact info would be. So it's just a simple card, and it ended up looking like this. And then to show you an example, I printed it out on my terrible printer and it looks terrible, but I just wanted to show you the real life example. Okay, so that was me creating a logo and business card design for a client from start to finish. I love how it turned out, and I am so happy that I took the time to do this because it was a really fun creative exercise, and it was fun to show you guys like how I do things from start to finish, like step by step how you actually create, especially if you're a freelancer and you're looking to get into this. It's a good tip, you know, to show like how other people work, and then maybe you can take some inspiration from me and work that way too. Or, you know, you can do whatever you want. It's your life. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it, and also let me know what other things you want to see me design in the comments below. And also follow me on Instagram at Paola Kassa, and subscribe if you haven't, and ring the bell so you can get notified when I upload, because wouldn't you want me in your notifications? But anyway, I will see you in my next video. Have a good one. Bye.